The Christmas music playing softly in the background felt suddenly jarring as my mother's words hung in the air. My fork hovered halfway to my mouth, a piece of turkey still speared on the end. Across the small dining table, my younger sister Ellie stopped chewing, her eyes darting between us. "Excuse me," I managed to ask, placing my fork down gently. Mom dabbed her mouth with a napkin, the one I'd bought along with the matching table runner and centerpiece. "I think it's time you moved out, Cassie. You're 26. It's not healthy to still be living at home." I took a slow, deliberate sip of water. The audacity was breathtaking. 3 years ago, when Dad left and Mom fell apart, I was the one who stepped up. I moved back home, postponing my plans for grad school to make sure we didn't lose the house. I got a job at the local accounting firm. Not my dream, but it paid well enough to cover everything. "Really?" I replied, keeping my voice calm. "I pay the rent, cover the bills, and buy all the groceries." Mom waved her hand dismissively. "That's your choice. I never asked you to do all that." Ellie's eyes widened. She was 19, in her first year of college, coming home only for holidays. She had no idea what daily life had been like these past few years. "You never asked because you couldn't," I said quietly. "You were barely functioning, remember?" Mom's face hardened. "That was a temporary rough patch. I'm fine now. A temporary rough patch." That's what she called spending days in bed, ignoring bills until disconnection notices arrived, and drinking wine until she passed out on the couch. "Are you seeing someone?" I asked suddenly. It was the only explanation that made sense. "Is that what this is about?" Mom's cheeks flushed. "Bingo. Walter thinks I've been enabling your delayed adulthood," she said primly. "And he's right. It's not good for either of us." Walter. The name triggered a vague memory of Mom mentioning someone from her book club a few months back. "So some guy you're dating thinks I should leave my own home? The home I've been keeping afloat." "Don't be dramatic," Mom snapped. "And it's not your home, it's mine. Your name isn't on any paperwork." That stung. Technically true, but only because I'd been sending payments directly from my account rather than transferring the mortgage to my name. Something I'd suggested and Mom had rejected. "When?" I asked, my appetite completely gone. "After the holidays would be fine," Mom said, returning to her meal as if we'd just been discussing the weather. "No need to rush." Beside me, Ellie looked close to tears. I reached over and squeezed her hand. "Well," I said, pushing back from the table. "Thank you for the heads up." I spent the rest of Christmas dinner in a fog, mechanically responding to Mom's attempts at normal conversation, helping clear the dishes afterward on autopilot. Later, I hugged Ellie extra tight before she left to meet friends, whispering that everything would be okay. That night, I lay awake thinking. By morning, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I woke before dawn, my decision crystallized during fitful sleep. The house was silent as I moved methodically through my room, packing only what truly mattered. Clothes, professional documents, the few family photos that still meant something to me. 3 years of financially supporting this household, yet everything I owned fit into 4 boxes and 2 suitcases. My company had an office in Denver. 6 months ago, my boss had casually mentioned they needed someone reliable to help establish the new branch. I declined, unwilling to leave Mom and our hometown. The irony wasn't lost on me as I composed an email on my phone, asking if the position was still available. The response came surprisingly quickly, considering it was 5:30 a.m. on December 26th. "Cassie, absolutely. Position is yours if you want it. Housing assistance included. Call me when you can. Mark." I took a final walk through the house, the home where I'd grown up. In the kitchen, I gathered the folder of financial documents I kept in the drawer beside the fridge. Mortgage statements, utility bills, grocery receipts, all with my name on them. I'd been documenting everything out of habit, never imagining I'd need proof of my contributions. Mom's bedroom door remained closed. I could have woken her, confronted her one last time. Instead, I wrote a simple note and left it on the dining table, right where she'd dropped her bombshell. "Mom, as requested, I'm moving out. I've accepted a position in Denver starting January 2nd. The mortgage is paid through January. After that, you're on your own. I've canceled the automatic payments from my account for all utilities and other household expenses. I've taken only what belongs to me. Everything else, including the responsibility for this house, is now yours again. P.S. I've left copies of all the financial records showing my contributions over the past 3 years with my lawyer, just in case you and Walter decide to rewrite history." I called Ellie as I loaded my car in the pale morning light. "You're actually leaving?" she asked, her voice thick with sleep and disbelief. "I am. I'm sorry to drop this on you, but I can't stay where I'm not wanted." "Where will you go?" "Denver. I've got a job lined up already." There was a pause. "That was fast." "It's been on the table for months. I stayed for Mom. And now you're leaving because of her." It wasn't a question. I'm leaving because it's time. Mom made that clear. Another pause. Can I visit you? Once you're settled? My throat tightened. Of course. Anytime. She's going to regret this, Ellie said quietly. When she realizes what you've been doing all this time. Maybe. I wasn't convinced. But that's not my problem anymore. As I pulled out of the driveway, I glanced back at the house. No movement behind the windows. No last-minute realization from Mom about what she was losing. It was oddly fitting. I drove to a nearby diner, one of the few places open on the day after Christmas, and ordered breakfast. While waiting for my food, I booked a hotel in Denver for the next week and started apartment hunting online. The weight that had pressed on my chest for 3 years was lifting with each mile I put between myself and that house. My phone buzzed. A text from Ellie. Asterisk Mom just got up. Found your note. She's freaking out. Says you can't just leave like this. Asterisk. I set my phone face down without responding. The consequences of her decisions were no longer my responsibility to manage. For the first time in years, I felt something like freedom. Denver welcomed me with a snowstorm and surprising clarity. I spent New Year's Eve alone in my hotel room, watching the city's fireworks through my window while fielding increasingly desperate texts from my mother. Please come home. We need to talk about this. You're overreacting. I just meant you should find your own place nearby. The mortgage company called. What did you do? I answered none of them. The only person I stayed in contact with was Ellie, who provided regular updates on the unfolding situation back home. Mom met with the bank yesterday. She told me during our weekly call in mid-January. Apparently, she had no idea how much the mortgage actually was, or that you'd been making extra payments to catch up on the arrears from before you moved back. And how's Walter? I asked, unable to keep the edge from my voice. Ellie snorted. History. Turns out he was less interested once he realized Mom's comfortable situation was actually a financial house of cards that you were holding together. By February, I was settled in a modest but modern apartment in downtown Denver. My new position came with a significant raise, and for the first time in years, I was saving money instead of watching it all disappear into the black hole of family obligations. I made friends at work, joined a hiking group, and even went on a few dates, normal 20-something activities that had seemed impossible before. The calls from Mom became less frequent, but more sobering. The bank is threatening foreclosure, she admitted in March, her voice smaller than I'd ever heard it. I don't know what to do, Cassie. Part of me wanted to swoop in and rescue her again. The healthier part recognized this as the necessary consequence of her choices. You could sell the house, I suggested. Downsize to something manageable on your income. This is our family home, she protested. It stopped feeling like family when you kicked me out of it, I replied quietly. The silence that followed contained more truth than any conversation we'd had in years. In April, Ellie visited for her spring break. We hiked in the mountains, ate at trendy restaurants, and talked more openly than we ever had. She's selling the house, Ellie informed me on her last night. She found a real estate agent who thinks she can get enough to pay off the mortgage and have a small down payment for a condo. That's good, I said, meaning it. It's the right decision. Ellie studied me over her coffee cup. She misses you. She knows she messed up. I miss who I thought she was, I admitted. But I don't miss who she actually is. When Ellie left, she took a letter with her to give to Mom. Not an olive branch exactly, but an acknowledgement that while our relationship was broken, it wasn't necessarily beyond all repair. It would take time, honesty, and a fundamental reshaping of our dynamics, with boundaries I would no longer allow to be crossed. In June, 6 months after that fateful Christmas dinner, I received an unexpected email from my mother. Attached was a spreadsheet detailing every payment I'd made for the house over 3 years, meticulously calculated with interest. I'm selling the house next week. This money rightfully belongs to you. I can't repay it all at once, but I've set up a monthly transfer to start paying you back. I'm sorry, Cassie. Not just for Christmas, but for everything before it. I took advantage of your sense of responsibility. I confused taking care of me with loving me, and that wasn't fair to you. I don't expect forgiveness, but I want you to know that leaving was the best thing you could have done for both of us. Sometimes, walking away is the only way forward. That Christmas dinner had felt like an ending, but standing in my Denver apartment, reading my mother's first step toward genuine accountability, I recognized it for what it truly was, a painful but necessary beginning.